from the WYLN studios in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. WYLN Evening Edition at 5:30 starts right now.
Good evening. It's Friday, September 25th, 2015. I'm Paula Degnan, in for Ann Gownley. 3 people are left without a home after a fire ripped through a row home in Schuylkill County twice in one night. Fire crews from McAdoo were called to 214 West Sherman Street for a house fire around 8 o'clock last evening and again around midnight for a rekindle. This was the scene when WYLN arrived on location. According to fire crews, when they first arrived the first time, they found smoke coming from the second floor of the home. When they returned again, fire was blowing out the second floor window. The resident in the 210 and 214 side of the home was displaced. The American Red Cross called in to assist the residents. Crews from 3 counties assisted McAdoo at the fire. PPL also called in to cut the power to the home. A state police fire marshal was also called in to determine a cause of the fire in the borough of McAdoo. An 11-year-old boy had to be rescued from a mud pit in East Union Township Thursday night. These pictures are from the East Union Township Police Facebook page. The call came in around 3:45 Thursday afternoon for an 11-year-old boy sinking in the mud of the dried-up dam on Pole Road in Brandonville. Crews made their way to the middle of the muddy dam to rescue the child that was sinking. Crews made a human chain to get to the child and pull him to safety. Crews from Shenandoah Ambulance, Shepton Oneida Fire Company, and Mahanoy City West End Rescue all assisted at the scene of that rescue in East Union Township. The Hazleton Area School Board has started the process to hire a new human resources manager for the district. WYLN's Gary Perna has more.
At Thursday night's meeting, the board voted to start the process of replacing former Human Resources Manager Jackie McHale. During the budget battle, the board voted not to fill the position. But board member Robbie Wallace said that was not a good move and made the motion Thursday night to bring the position back. After the board voted to rewrite job descriptions and give pay raises to some in the central office to take on more work and more responsibility, since there was no HR manager.
It's not fair to any single person to say, okay, you have your full-time job to do, and just because we give you more money, you now have to do 2 jobs. It's impossible to do. It can't be done. And then you're taking 4 or 5 other people, giving them their job, and adding more to it. And when something falls through the cracks, then everybody points the fingers. And I want to stop that before it gets to that. I mean, we need help there. As you said, you find any corporation or company out there that has this many employees that doesn't have an HR person. Everybody has one. And, you know, I understand that you have to have budget cuts. I understand you have to draw the line somewhere, but there are things that are needed. You heard tonight some things that have to be needed. We have to address that, and you have to take care of that.
Wallace also called attention to the locker room project at Harmon Guy Stadium. Wallace said the building was promised to be up before the start of the sports season, which started over a month ago. As of today, still no building.
It's a travesty. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's taking so long. We've paid for the building. The building's ready to come. Now, I was told today, and this is the first time I was told this, but I was told today the concrete will be poured tomorrow. The building will be here Wednesday. We'll see if that happens. I just can't understand how it takes so long to do something so simple.
I know when you were president of the board, we had a lot of bad dirt issues, and it seems like they plague the district no matter what happens.
I don't know if we can dig anywhere in the district that there's not bad dirt. But the situation down there was a lot of places that building could have went. Why we wouldn't have gone down and did sampling in a lot of different areas and say this is the most feasible place to put the building, I don't know that. I'm not in construction, but to me that makes a lot of sense. You know, we didn't say it must be here and that's our only choice. It was a recommended site, but it didn't have to go there. And then we didn't do any bore testing, and then we start to dig and we find out that we have, you know, ash there that has to be hauled out. And our change order was 60% of the project. And to me, that's just ridiculous.
The district had to pay the city of Hazleton over $5,000 in permit and inspection fees for this project. At District Administration for WYLN News, I'm Gary Perna.
Girardville Borough Council is one man down after a resignation was handed in this afternoon. Dan Heiser resigned from Girardville Borough Council. He handed in his letter of resignation this afternoon after serving for the last year and a half. Borough Council will meet in 2 weeks and they'll vote on his resignation. Heiser's resignation on council comes just 3 months after another council person, Michelle O'Connell, resigned. House Speaker John Boehner will be stepping down at the end of October from one of the most powerful positions in government and give up his House seat. Boehner, who was first elected to Congress in 1990, made the announcement among his fellow Republicans this morning. Congressman Lou Barletta issued a statement. He said in part, quote, "I have not always agreed with the Speaker on every issue, but I always found that he treated people fairly and with respect. I have often said that Speaker Boehner had one of the toughest jobs in politics." The congressman went on to say, "I know what the old cliche says, but honestly, herding cats would be a lot easier." Congressman Barletta also gave kudos to Boehner for joining him touring the damage locally in the aftermath of Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee in 2011. Speaker Boehner from Ohio was selected as Speaker of the House back in January of 2011, taking over the gavel from then Speaker Nancy Pelosi. It was a thumbs up for student housing at Luzerne County Community College's main campus in Nanticoke. The Board of Trustees voting to support the project on Thursday. It's proposed by Building Solutions, LLC of Selinsgrove, which has built housing at Westchester and Shippensburg universities. The developer, not the school, will own the finished housing. The board had previously held off on giving approval over concern for potential liability, but LCCC President Dr. Thomas Leary said that's been addressed. Time now for a first look at our forecast heading into the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Joe Garbacik in the Weather Center with the details. Joe?
Hey, it's looking spectacular as we head into this upcoming weekend. In fact, there's a storm system down toward the south, as you can see all the rain, but that's going to stay toward the south. The only thing we're going to see is the increase in clouds across our region. We're going to stay dry as we head through this evening. Notice 70s and 80s for daytime highs. Nighttime lows still kind of chilly, 40s and 50s. And boy, tell you what, it is looking spectacular for all the high school football games tonight. It's going to be dry. Skies will be partly cloudy. And temperatures by post-game should only be near 60 degrees. Very nice out there. In fact, temperatures right now, many areas mid to upper 60s. Elsewhere, temperatures are in the lower 70s. A complete 7-day forecast coming up in just a few.
Thanks, Joe. Pope Francis wraps up his U.S. visit, speaking of this weekend in Philadelphia. Coming up, a church in McAdoo who will have great seats for the Sunday Mass, and will also introduce you to the local man who caught up with the pontiff this week in Washington. Don't go away.
You're watching WYLN News with Ann Gownley, Gary Perna, Julie Stefanovich, Paula Degnan, Chief Videographer Mike Lula, Weather with meteorologist Joe Garbacik, Sports with Eric DeBerardinis and Gabriella Justin.
Someone parking in your space? At no cost to you, DeLuca Towing, located at 191 North Cedar Street in Hazleton, will patrol your parking spot 24/7. Again, at no cost to you. You'll also receive parking permits for you and other authorized vehicles at your property. Call DeLuca Towing and Recovery at 570-450-5685.
Are you tired of your old car? Independence Toyota Scion in the Airport Beltway in Hazleton has an incredible spring savings deal for you. It's Chris Stash's Cash for Clunkers time. $3,000 minimum pre-owned trade-in allowance. Chris doesn't care if you push that old clunker in, pull that tired old clunker in, get it there any way you can and trade it for a car you'll love to drive. Over 80 pre-owned vehicles are available, all inspected, detailed, and ready to go. Independence Toyota Scion in Hazleton for exceptional service, the best selection of vehicles, and a minimum trade-in allowance of $3,000 for your clunker. Stop in and see Chris and his friendly team today.
Penn State is right here in the Hazleton area.
We're top ranked by corporate recruiters.
We have 4-year degrees, so you can finish here or at another Penn State campus.
There's new scholarship money available.
And there's no application fee when you visit here.
Penn State Hazleton.
Download your application fee waiver at psu.edu/visit Hazleton.
Thousands from our area are heading down to see the Holy Father in Philadelphia this weekend, but some can't travel. So one church in Schuylkill County will be showing the Mass live in church. WILN's Gary Perna has more on that story.
All Saints Church in McAdoo will be setting up a large screen in the church to show the Mass with the Pope for all those who didn't or couldn't attend in person in Philadelphia. Father William Baker said this may be better than being there in person.
We rigged up a movie screen on a scaffolding, and we got a projector. We plugged that into the cable, and we'll just project it here. The Mass is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. on Sunday. We'll be gathering a little bit earlier than that at 3:20 for some prayer, Chapel of Divine Mercy, the Rosary, and then we'll watch the Papal Mass together, and then we have a potluck supper afterwards, and everyone's invited. Not everyone can get down to Philadelphia. A lot of our people, it's a long drive, and so it'll be a long, long day, and with all the problems and everything, you probably get a better view here.
Baker said this was important for the church to do so everyone could see the Holy Father and take time to reflect.
Well, I think it's, a historic occasion. It's an important occasion for Catholics, for all Americans, but especially for Catholics, of course. And, there are a lot of elderly people in the area, a lot of people who are not going to go down, but it's a church event. And for those who would like to come together, where 2 or 3 come together in Jesus' name, there he is in their midst in a special way. We're offering it for those who would like to come together and pray with us and watch the Mass and then enjoy some fellowship with us.
Baker said this week with the Pope being here in the United States has been wonderful and uplifting for Catholics and everyone.
I was listening to his speech to the joint session of Congress yesterday, and he was saying, at the beginning of the speech, he said, I want to speak to everyone out there. I want to speak to the elderly. I want to speak to the youth. I want to speak to, it wasn't just those people there gathered at Capitol Hill. He was speaking to all of us, and that's obviously what he's doing through this whole trip. So he has a message for us. This is a message that the Vicar of Christ is giving to us Americans in 2015.
Again, the service will start at 4 p.m., but the congregation will be gathering at about 3:20 for some prayers. Now, following the Mass, there will be a potluck dinner at the church. In McAdoo, for WILN News, I'm Gary Perna.
And in other Pope news, a West Hazleton man had his opportunity to hear from the Pope in person in Washington, D.C. WILN's Ann Gownley has his story.
While thousands from our area prepare for Pope Francis's visit to Philadelphia this weekend, a West Hazleton man made the trip to Washington, D.C. to hear from the Pope outside of Capitol Hill.
We were outside, sitting on the terrace of the Capitol. Behind us there was probably over 50,000 people, and there were people in front of us, but we had a pretty close seat, and there were monitors throughout, screens throughout for those who were outside to watch and listen to the speech that the Pope gave Congress. So we weren't inside, we were outside, but we were watching it on the screens. And it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop with over 50,000 people there at least. And then at the end, when his speech was over, he did come out the balcony of, I believe it was Congressman Boehner's office, and he came out and he blessed some children, prayed for children there, and he said a few words. He asked the congregation outside to pray for him, and he gave us all a blessing. And he was outside about 5 minutes, and it was very, very moving.
Fume said it was an experience he will never forget, especially as a practicing Catholic.
Yeah, a very historical day because it was the first time a pope spoke to the joint session of Congress, and it was just very moving, an emotional day, and it was just awesome being there, and awesome seeing him come out.
As for the atmosphere in Washington, D.C., Fume said when the Pope began to address the people, you could hear a pin drop.
People just loved it. I mean, they were very excited, and they chanted for him before he came out. They were chanting for him to come out, and they just love him. You could feel the love for the people, for that Pope. It was just an experience that it's hard to explain, a very moving experience.
And for those heading to Philadelphia this weekend, Fume has some advice.
You feel his presence there, even if he's not right there, if he's on the screen, if you're far behind and back of the altar, or wherever you're standing, you're going to feel it, even though you may not see him personally. And it's a worthwhile trip.
The Pope arrives in Philadelphia Saturday morning at 9:30 and will be greeted by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf and his wife, Frances Wolf. In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Ann Gownley.
Coming up next, meteorologist Joe Garbaczyk back with the full look at the weekend forecast and maybe even a peek at the weekend for the Pope. Don't go away.
The Wiltsey Center presents an evening at the Summit with Frank, Dean, and Sammy, October 10th, 7 p.m. at the Wiltsey Center in Hazleton. The Rat Pack is back through the talent and stylings of these 3 seasoned East Coast performers. Come enjoy the 1960s kings of the Las Vegas Strip. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com and any Ticketmaster location. It's an evening at the Summit with Frank, Dean, and Sammy, October 10th at 7 p.m. at the Wiltsey Center in Hazleton.
Hey neighbor, looking for a safe, reliable pre-owned vehicle at a great price? Now open Burger Advantage Pre-Owned, Route 93 near the Laurel Mall in Hazel Township. Over 150 local trades from our new 3 new car dealerships. 100-point inspection, free vehicle history report, 3-day money-back guarantee, lifetime PA state inspection, 5 years of oil changes, lifetime tire rotation. Plus, we'll make your first 2 payments up to $1,000 total. Burger Advantage Pre-Owned, just off exit 145 off ID1 near the Laurel Mall in Hazel Township.
Burger Family Dealerships, drive with experience.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
And welcome back. Well, it's a nice day today to end our work week. The clouds on the increase, the storm system down toward the south. A little bit of a breeze, but a comfortable conditions, looking very nice for all the high school football games as we head into this evening. No rain. I guarantee you that. All right, let's take a look at the graphic for the day, and we're going to stay on the dry side of things, I think, as we head into this weekend. But if you're going down south, or if you have any plans to go down toward the south, we're going to encounter some rain. Probably not the best of the weekends to go down there, because there will be a decent amount of rain occurring. But for our area, we're going to be spared of it. It's going to be a pretty nice weekend across our area. Live 35 Skycast Doppler, we got nothing to show you. It continues to remain dry. Temperature-wise, we continue to remain in the mid to upper 60s, and again, just a little bit of a breeze out there, but that pretty much is about it. 65 Mount Pocono, 75 Williamsport, 74 Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport, and 70 degrees in State College. Wyoming Valley area not looking too bad. Temperatures holding in the 70s. Again, we got that rain down toward the south, quite a bit of it. We're going to see those increasing clouds, and we continue to see that across our area, but don't get worried tonight going to the high school football games. It may look like rain, but I'm telling you it's not going to rain, so it's not going to rain tonight, okay? Take my word for that, because it's going to stay down toward the south. But we're going to see a lot of clouds as we head, even as we go into tomorrow. But we're going to stay dry this weekend. But there's a couple of chances of a little bit of some rain in our forecast, which I'll get to in a little bit. Looking at the numbers going through tonight, going into tomorrow, and especially going into Sunday. Sunday's going to be very cool. We may not get out of the 60s for daytime highs. So a pleasant day as we head into tomorrow. Windy along the shore because of that storm system down toward the south. So some of those high waves crashing along the east coast because of that particular system. But for our area, we get spared of it thanks to high pressure in control. Extended forecast looking like this. Well, not looking too bad as we go into the weekend. Again, we're going to see some areas of fog tomorrow morning, and then a mix of clouds and sunshine. A lot of clouds around for Sunday, only 62. Some scattered showers for Monday, maybe a shower or two for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then look at Friday of next week. We may not make it to 60. Yeah. All right. Our Pennsylvania lottery numbers, the daytime ones, the pick 284, the pick 3 213, and the pick 4 2849. The pick 5 numbers 19554, and the treasure hunt numbers 2, 19, 21, 24, and 28. Stick around. We'll have a heck of a lot for you coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Marty Burns. Join me every week for Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton Area High School football. I'll be joined by head coach Mike Brennan, and each week we'll talk about the past week's game, look ahead to a future opponent, and have some special guests. So join us the entire season of Hazleton Area High School football right here on Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton Area High School football. You can see it here on WYLN.
WYLN is proud to announce a huge technical upgrade to our channels that will bring a better digital picture and expanded coverage area to viewers all over northeastern and central Pennsylvania. In addition to Channel 35.1 in Hazleton, you can watch a crystal clear picture in Berwick and Columbia County on Channel 47.1 and in East Stroudsburg on Channel 24.1. And we're proud to announce Pennsylvania's newest TV station, Channel 9.1 in Williamsport, serving Lycoming, Montour, Northumberland, and Union counties. Now more than ever, WYLN is your local network.
The Majority Leader of the State House of Representatives, Dave Reed, met with representatives of local organizations at the Wyoming Valley United Way on Wednesday. Childhood poverty and programs which help low-income families were topics of the discussion, and he wanted to hear feedback on programs that may not be working for the good of the people affected by poverty.
We heard about various issues, particularly focused on childhood poverty and how it's become prevalent here in the local region. Early childhood education, workforce development, hunger, the typical issues that you think of when you talk about poverty. But, you know, the most important part of the discussion on some of the programs that are developing locally to help combat these problems that potentially could be replicated in different areas of the state to help replicate successes.
The state budget standstill is also affecting the way organizations operate.
Well, I think certainly not having a state budget is putting school district operations and human service operations in jeopardy. It's one of the reasons we're moving forward with a stopgap budget this week so that we continue to negotiate the bigger items with the governor and with the Senate, but allow these monies to flow locally so that no programs have to shut down. I think nonprofits sometimes are far ahead of government in helping to tailor services to individuals and individual families, and the better communication we can have with those folks who are the local implementers, who are actually at the front lines, can help us to develop the programs at the state level and the funding in particular to help make them more successful.
Reed said that lawmakers are looking into the statistics and effectiveness of anti-poverty programs. They've also partnered with the Pew Research Center to help them make funding decisions based on the success of the programs. A special fundraiser is set for this weekend to help a Freeland woman who's battling cancer. The Take a Swing at Cancer softball tournament will be at the Drifton Softball Complex. Proceeds will benefit Debbie Palco, who has pancreatic cancer. The tournament starts at 10 o'clock Saturday and runs until 4 p.m. There's a home run derby for children scheduled for noon on Sunday. The event also featuring tricky trays, raffles, music, face painting for the kids, and Tucks from the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins will pay a special visit. Make sure you come out to Drifton this weekend and join in the fight against cancer. Coming up next, Eric Bidaradinas is with the sports here on WYLN, so stay tuned.
WYLN TV 35 has strong ties to the community, as evident in its commitment to important causes like the American Cancer Society and Helping Hand Society telethons. WYLN's commitment to northeastern Pennsylvania continues with a broadcast of Hazleton's Funfest Parade and both the Christmas and St. Patrick's Day parades in Wilkes-Barre. In the summer, we broadcast the Weatherly and Giants of Spare Hill Flag, and throughout the year, we provide important community services through the broadcast of town meetings, school board meetings, election night coverage, and other events. WYLN, we're your local network.
Sports on WYLN is sponsored in part by Burger Family Dealerships, Harry's View Pullet, Fairway Chevrolet, Penn State Hazleton, Barber Ford, The Wire Guys, Tri-County Business Machines, Weatherwood Nursing, Hazel Park Quality Meats, John Diana Insurance, Mobility by Steven, Service Electric, Hazleton, S.J. Kowalski, Plumbing and Heating, Coordinated Health, Grand Central, and Third Base Luncheonette.
Week 4 of Friday Night Lights is upon us, and in WILN's Game of the Week tonight, we will have live coverage of the matchup between the Williamsport Millionaires and Hazleton Cougars. Gabriella Justin has the details on tonight's matchup.
The Hazleton Cougars are entering Week 4 play with a 1-2 record. Tonight, they are hosting the Williamsport Millionaires, who, with a brand new head coach and the combination of a star quarterback and wide receiver, have tackled the start of the 2015 season with a 3-0 record. The Millionaires are already making a big turnaround from last season when they went 2-8.
It's been seamless. You know, we have a group of kids who want to be coached and want to work hard. I have a bunch of coaches who want to coach hard and want to win. It's a perfect situation. If you ask me, I got the best job in District 2.
Millionaires wide receiver Jarrah Reeves detailed the close relationship he has on the field with starting quarterback Isaiah Hankins.
He's been throwing me the ball since Pop Warner, so it's pretty much we've been able to connect for a long time. Isaiah he brings us all in together. He dominates. He gets everybody the ball that needs the ball when they're open. He's made a lot of strides.
On Monday, Hazleton's head coach Mike Brennan looked back on last year's game against Williamsport, acknowledging the talent that lies within its team.
There's some very good football players, very athletic kids. It starts with Hankins, a quarterback. He threw for a ton of yards last year. The Elliott Walker, the running back, wears number 32. He hurt us last year up at Williamsport with a kickoff return and another long run.
Coach Brennan is expecting a tough fight during tonight's matchup, considering the Millionaires have been explosive on offense with both their run and pass game, but is hopeful that the adjustments and preparation his team has done on both offense and defense throughout this week will be the key to getting their first home win of the season. Friday Night Lights kicks off at 7 p.m. tonight, and once again, be sure to tune into WILN for live coverage on this Hazleton-Williamsport matchup. For WILN Sports, I'm Gabriella Justin.
Elsewhere tonight, probably the best area rivalry with two of the best teams this year out in Berwick as the Bulldogs host Wyoming Valley West. George Curry coached the Spartans for a few years, only fueling that matchup. In the Anthracite League, two big-time games with unbeatens Lehighton and Blue Mountain battling for league supremacy, and North Schuylkill trying to get back on track and stop Marian Catholic head coach Stan DeCoste from picking up career win number 300. Enjoy Friday Night Lights, and stay tuned. Coming up, Joe Garbacic is in with a final look at the forecast.
If you haven't found the perfect fishing getaway, you haven't been to Captain's Cove. Located on Henderson Harbor in upstate New York, Captain's Cove offers a variety of accommodations to please just about anyone. The motel, also located on the harbor, offers a magnificent view. Enjoy free morning coffee, air-conditioned rooms, cable TV, and HBO. The cottage can accommodate up to 8 people with 3 bedrooms, a complete kitchen, washer, dryer, 2 full baths, air conditioning, an outside grill, and picnic table. Call us today for rates and information at 1-800-824-FISH.
Tune in each week to WILN TV 35 to watch the #1 Hazleton-based broadcasted television talk show, The Storm, hosted by Tiffany Cloud. Candidates, politicians, community leaders, and more appear on The Storm when they want to be heard. New shows air Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and these additional air times. Only on WILN TV 35. We're your local network.
Well, that's what we're going to see the entire weekend. We're going to stay dry, I think, across our area. Any of the rain should stay down toward the south. But for our area, it's going to be pretty nice. Some areas of fog as we head into tomorrow morning. And then we'll be up into the 60s. A cool one. Very cool. For Sunday, it's even going to get cooler by the ending part of next week. We may struggle just to make it to near 60 degrees for a daytime high.
Is that the Popecast?
That
it's
is
the
cool.
Popecast. It is.
I like that. That's the Pope cap.
I'm going down Sunday. And I understand he's blessing the teams in Philadelphia.
He should.
Yeah.
That's a wise move by him.
So see that?
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
You're going Sunday.
I'm going Sunday. So we'll see what happens. You have a wonderful weekend.